Hey guys, so today we're going to jump into a top 10 units list for Dragon Ball Legends. This is going to be the May 2025 edition, part 2. We did one for Kid Goku and he dropped at the end of April, which I needed time to use them, so we started that video in May. This is the second video we're doing this month, but of course, part 1 of the anniversary has changed things up quite a bit, so I felt the need to do an updated top 10 for part 1, plus a lot of people have been asking for this, so... just before we jump into the list, top 3 points that I want to mention first. All characters considered at 14 stars, best teams, best equips, best situations essentially for all the units. Number 2, these characters are ranked based off of how good I think they are in the current meta, not just simply which character is better than which in a vacuum. And then number 3, of course, everything is ranked based off of my own experience using the characters and playing against the characters. Something else I want to mention before we jump in is this is actually a list that I spent very little time thinking about. I kind of just made this, thought about it for like 2 minutes, and now I'm recording the video. And it's usually not how I do these lists. Usually what I do is I make the list about a day before I record. I sit on the list for about a day and think about it, and then I sometimes come back and change things up a little bit. But for this one, that's not what I did. I think for this meta in particular, there are like, for me, there's an obvious number 1 and an obvious number 2, and then like everything else can kind of just be whatever almost. You'll see. There like that's I would say there is a pretty big separation for me for the top 5 and then the rest of the list. But if we're talking about like top 10, 9, 8, those slots, I think you could actually have a list of like 15 different characters that could realistically be in like the top 10, 9, or 8 on this list. So there's a lot of characters that could be on the list that I will not mention. I guess what I could do is when we get to like in between number 2 and number 1, I could just input like a section where I talk about different characters that could be on here. But I mean, there's like actually like, again, like 15, 16, 17, 18 characters you could put on at the bottom end of this list. So there's a lot of good characters that are, I think, viable right now, which is a good thing. But I think we'll just jump in normally here. We'll talk about number 10. Just to, I guess, to quickly preface this, I do have a shared spot at number 10, and then I also have a shared spot at number 9, but the shared spot at number 9 is not going to be also taking up number 8. So it is a top 10 list, but it's 12 characters. So I don't know. Let's just jump in and I'll explain my rankings here when we get into it. Okay, so something I probably should have mentioned in the intro, but I'll just talk about it here real quick. The difference between this list and the past list in terms of what's changed in the game, we have the first part of the anniversary featuring transforming UI Goku, transforming Evolution Blue Vegeta, and then we have the 2 1% Sparkings, Kaba, and Kale and Caulifla. But there is another really, really big thing that happened in the game, and that is the change to the battle system. The biggest one of those changes being the combo compensation nerf. I guess it is a nerf, yeah. And the biggest thing out of that is the fact that, number 1, the penalty to card draw speed and key recovery in the middle of long combos is bigger than before. So you're not going to be drawing as many cards, and you're not going to have as much key recovery while performing step or charge combos for long periods of time. And then the other change to that is, if you are in a combo for a long time and you're comboing with, you know, a character for 5, 6, 7 arts cards, they've implemented kind of like a drawback to that, where now you actually, the switch timers on your characters on standby will not reduce during that time period. So if you comboed past a certain point, you actually can't reduce the switch timers of your characters besides character abilities. Like if you have a character ability that forces subcounts to go down, maybe like when an enemy switches or something, that's something you can still use, but the natural reduction in switch timers for characters on standby will actually not go down anymore. That is a really big change. So I'm going to be talking about that for certain characters on here. And the main reason why I bring that up is because it does pertain to one of the units in this number 10 slot, which is Future Gohan and Trunks. So number 10, I have a shared spot here, Kid Goku and Future Gohan and Trunks. Kid Goku, I actually talked about this on Twitter the other day, but Kid Goku for me is probably the single hardest character for me to evaluate. Not because I haven't had enough experience using him, but because I've had insufficient experience fighting him. I have fought maybe a grand total of 4 people using this Kid Goku. Whenever I rate characters in this game and whenever I can get a good grasp of how good a character is, it's because I've used them and I've fought against them a bunch of times. So for me, I've had a lot of experience using Kid Goku, but I haven't had a lot of experience fighting him. So it's hard for me to really evaluate him on the same level as the other characters because I just don't have that experience. But based off of my experience using him, he definitely is a good unit. I think he's a pretty flexible character in that he has one of the stronger Second Life mechanics with his Indestructible, and it's not conditional. Right, Super Saiyan 4 Dynamo Goku has Indestructible, but it's conditional upon him being on a full Dynamo team. So that's the major difference there. And I kind of feel a little bit similar with Kid Goku as I do with Future Gohan and Trunks. Future Gohan and Trunks have another very strong Second Life mechanic with their succession, so the only character to have that in the game. I do kind of like Future Gohan and Trunks maybe in a vacuum a little bit better, but Kid Goku has much more burst potential. And the main reason why, I mean, if you look at the discrepancy in placements on this list versus the last list, where I had Future Gohan and Trunks way up more on the list than Kid Goku, the reason why they're slightly, like I think I have them like number 4 on the other list. This one, they're 10. And the main reason for that is because they can't take as much of an advantage of the long combos that essentially is the core element of the character anymore. You can do them still, but number 1, you're going to be doing less damage. Number 2, you're not going to have as much of an opportunity to capitalize on the card draw speed of the character. And then number 3, you're not going to have as much key recovery, and you can't cycle through your switch counts to switch characters with them from being able to combo for long periods of time, right? A lot of what goes into these combos and a lot of the benefit you get from doing long combos in the game is not just to do damage, but it is to buy time for you to be able to switch characters again. So you can't really do that as efficiently anymore. So I think that really hurts a character like Future Gohan and Trunks, who is... again, one of their hallmarks is their ability to be super, I guess, just time buy-y, I guess, with their combo potential. So that is why I have them lower here, but I still think they're a pretty decent character. They can be on Future, do well on there. Kid Goku, his best team is DB, but unfortunately DB is just kind of like an anomaly team right now. It's not really too good, even though it just got a campaign dedicated to it. But Kid Goku is a very good character on just like a all-purpose Saiyan team, Sun Family team, like UI Goku. One team I am using is a Saiyan team with Majin Vegeta leader, Kid Goku, and then UI Goku on the team. It's a very... I don't think, by the time this video goes up, I don't think I've done a video on that team yet, but that is a very toxic, annoying team. But yeah, I mean, there's no real, like, super downside to Kid Goku. I just feel like, I don't know. He's very basic, very plain. The one issue with him is he does get a significant power jump when you have a dead ally, and that just isn't a very it's not a very consistent condition to have up. Reminds me of like the Namek Goku, the newer Namek Goku, who needs a dead ally to get like the extra charge to his gauge and things like that. He's good, but I don't really think he's at the level where I can put him like super high up on this list. But again, like I mentioned, I would say legitimately slots 10 through 3 on this list are pretty flexible. So if you have Goku as high as like 6 or 5, I don't really think that's that big of a deal. But I'm going to put him at number 10. I don't know. I don't have the experience fighting him. So number 10, I have Future Gohan and Trunks and Kid Goku shared. Let's move on to number 9 next, which is also a shared spot. Okay, so coming in at number 9, we are going to have a shared spot between LF Super Saiyan God Goku and Transforming Evolution Blue Vegeta. We can talk about God Goku real quick here. God Goku, I think, has gotten much better in 2 regards. Number 1, just being green right now is very good, which I guess says a lot about Vegeta. Seeing a huge rise in like mono green teams being used in PvP right now. So that's good. Element is good. And then the second part is, again, going back to the combo compensation change, and we'll talk about this with another beloved Ultra character later, much later in this list, is the fact that he has an AoE green and endurance, which is a combination that I honestly don't think should exist. And the reason why this is so insane is because you can use drop combo AoEs to circumvent the combo compensation change. If you drop combo AoE green with endurance, all the opponent really can do is either tap you out of the AoE green or they can rush you. They can't really like punish you for doing it, because if they rush you, congrats, you made them waste their rush on your second life character. Or they could tap you out of it and it just resets the field to neutral and nothing really happens. So there almost is no downside to drop comboing an AoE green with a character like God Goku, who can't really get killed from it. Unless you're, I guess, comboing a character like Ultra Cell, who has the endurance nullification that's uncancelable. But I think God Goku has gotten a lot better because of the change. Well, it's not that God Goku has really gotten a lot better because of the change, but he's one of the very few characters that has gotten not as hampered by the change. And in turn, that basically means he got pseudo helped by the change. So I think God Goku's in a really good spot, but I will just say we really are in like a drought of just like not very good purple characters. When I say not very good, I don't mean like they're bad units, but if we look back through basically since Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, what are the purple units that have released? So there are 0 characters in here. I'm looking at my screen right now with all the purple units. There are 0 characters since Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta that I would argue have been supremely dominant purple units. Tamagami number 3, Garlic Jr., Days. I mean, if you want to count like Perfect Cell and Frieza, the GT unit. Future Gohan and Trunks is 1/3 purple, I guess. The Purple 17, Cell Games Goku, Majin Doo, Demon King Piccolo, and then now this Vegeta. Right? I mean, we have some good units on there, but again, we've not had a mega dominant purple unit in a full year, essentially, since Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta dropped. So God Goku has just had like a really favorable environment pretty much for almost a full year here. Obviously, him getting his unique equip vastly helped him because it filled in a lot of the gaps that he was missing for his kit. But I do think God Goku's a pretty good character right now. Against UI Goku, he's a good matchup there, but against Daima, it's okay. I feel like he's not the greatest against Daima, but he's still effective pretty much in every matchup, I would say. He's not like good against Daima, but he's not bad either. For Vegeta, okay, so let's talk about Vegeta. I think Vegeta is not a bad character. I've seen a lot of people downplaying Vegeta a lot. I've seen people say he's not top 15. I've seen people say he's not top 20. I actually think I like Vegeta more than most people do. The issue I have with Vegeta is not even so much about Vegeta. It's just that how big of a gap there is, how much of a difference there is between how good Vegeta is and how good UI Goku is. And this goes back to Legends Fest 2024, where in part 1, we had Vegito Blue, who was like quite easily number 1 or number 2 at the time, next to Majin Vegeta. And then Rose was like 10, 11, 12, 13, like somewhere in there. He's just, it wasn't close. Like it wasn't. I will say I like this Vegeta more than I liked Rose during part 1 of Legends Fest, but this is the anniversary. I think they do hold the anniversary in just a bit of a higher regard than they hold for Legends Fest in terms of the importance of the celebration, what it means to the game, especially the 7th anniversary, something they've been talking about for so long. Vegeta definitely feels like he was given the short end of the stick in comparison to UI Goku, who we'll talk about way later. But UI Goku has some mechanics that it is very bizarre to me that Vegeta does not have. One of those being the cost increase stacking debuffs. It's basically the Beast Gohan mechanic, but it's just doesn't. It only applies to the current enemy, not the entire enemy team. But it is still a very effective ability. I don't understand why they gave that to UI Goku and not to Vegeta. That to me feels like a mechanic where it's like, yeah, we could give this, or it's like we could not give this to UI Goku, or we could just do it because he's a part 1 anniversary character. And if they were going to do that for UI Goku, they should have done the same thing for Vegeta if they're going to share a same exact release slot as part 1 anniversary characters, right? There shouldn't be this massive Grand Canyon discrepancy between both the part 1 characters, especially if we're talking about Vegeta versus Goku. And I'm not really going to go super into the, oh, Vegeta doesn't deserve to be a part 1 character. He could be a part 1 character, but they got to make it worth it, right? Either you make Vegeta better than UI Goku so it gives people a reason to summon, or guess what you do? Instead of putting Kaba as the 1% sparking, look at what they did during the 3rd anniversary. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Fusion Zamasu, and who did they put on Fusion Zamasu's banner? Vegito Blue and Kefla. And then Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta got Ice and Nova Shenron. You know what Vegeta should have had on his banner for as the 1% sparking? It should have been like 1% sparking Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, 1% sparking Gogeta Blue, something like that to actually entice people to summon for Vegeta. I probably run into one Vegeta every 8 matches or so, whereas with UI Goku, it is actually like 95% of matches I run into him. So that right there gives a big sign as to which character people view as better, which character people view as a bigger threat. Mono green is very prevalent. And I don't know. I just feel like this Vegeta was most definitely given the short end of the stick. In fact, you know which character this Vegeta reminds me of the most that we've gotten in the history of Legends? Not the mechanics, but it's just the feeling I get from the character. This Vegeta most reminds me of pre-buff Goku and Frieza. Why? Because they were about the same level. Goku and Frieza, when they dropped before their buff, they were like 7 to 9 range, I would say, overall, in terms of how good they were. That's right where this Vegeta is, right? Vegeta, I have him at 9. You can move him to 8. You can move him to 7. I think he fits somewhere in there. That to me is where I think he fits. But as a Part 1 anniversary character, I don't know. I just think this is... the gauge, this is, you know, he also reminds me of too, and this more so fits in with the actual mechanics of the character. He reminds me of Dragon Fist Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist. The reason why is because he's a very selfish character. You need to invest in this character very early on in the fight to level up his gauge. Otherwise, he's just going to fall behind. If you don't invest in this character early, he's going to fall behind, and that is exactly the same thing that happened to Dragon Fist. If you did not get Dragon Fist's gauge built up, he couldn't do his one-shot, and that was essentially the whole mechanic of the character. Vegeta needs to get his level 3 gauge to get the endurance nullification on the blue card. He needs to get the level 3 gauge so he can have the extra combo potential. I think the transformation is pretty strong on this character, the ability to just draw a full hand of cards, get cover null. A little bit concerned and kind of don't understand why he doesn't remove at normal conditions and attribute downgrades on his transformation. Because, like, for example, you attack Mastered UI Goku with his Vegeta. That Mastered UI Goku is stacking up the cost stuff on this character. He just doesn't remove the cost buildup. It's kind of weird. But I do probably like Vegeta more than most people do. I just don't think he was given enough tools, whereas I think UI Goku was given too many tools. So I'm not sure what the reasoning was. Maybe it's just they really view UI as the true headlining character, whereas Vegeta's more so just the side unit. And if that's the case, then why not just make it one banner and make Vegeta 1% sparking at that point? But I think Vegeta's fine. I just, for an anniversary character, I do actually think he should have been better. And it pains me to say this, but I don't expect him to get a Goku and Frieza style buff, even though they feel exactly the same to me in terms of how good they were when they dropped, because they said, number one, they weren't going to do it again. And also, number two, we have a really insane anniversary character already with UI Goku. And because he exists, I don't think they'll feel as necessary to... I don't think they'll feel it is as necessary to buff this Vegeta. If Vegeta was by himself, like, let's just say, for example, there was one headliner for Part 1, and it was Vegeta. And Vegeta was as good as this, I think they would actually buff. I think they would buff him, right? Whether it's a direct buff, which I don't think they would do. I think they would probably just give him a unique equip right away, which would be weird, but, I mean, no choice, right? Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be buffing him. We'll see, though. But I'm a little disappointed in what he's bringing to the table because of the big difference there. I don't think he's a bad character inherently, but it's just, why are the units so different? So, yeah, Vegeta have at number 9 next to God Goku. Let's move on to number 8. All right, number 8 is going to be Ultra Cell. This is a character that I really had a tough time ranking on this list. I think this guy can be as low as not even being on the list. And again, I think he probably could be as high as like 5 or 6, but I have him here at number 8. It's mostly just, you know, due to the fact that he essentially can just rush most teams and not care. Some of the bigger players that we're going to be talking about later, Majin Vegeta, Beast Gohan, they're really susceptible to this character. Obviously, the reason why he's much lower on this list than he was on prior lists is because UI Goku is just literally one counter from UI Goku, and this guy's history, or his first life, was taken away, right? But the opposite almost is true, where most teams that are running Goku, UI Goku, with like Majin Vegeta, or maybe you're running Universe Reps next to Evolution Blue Vegeta and maybe 17, this cell just rushes and someone's dead. Unless you guess him, I guess, right? And that's one of the reasons why I was running Goku and Frieza. The team I was using for UI Goku was Goku and Frieza with their unique equip, who were very good, UI Goku, and Blue 17. And that was the team I was using, and the reason why I was using Goku and Frieza mostly was just because if I ran into Cell and I wasn't using Goku and Frieza, Cell would just have a free rush against my team. Unfortunately, I played quite a bit with that team, and I think over the course of like a 2.5 hour session with that team, I ran into like one Cell. So I don't know, like, not a lot of people using this guy right now, but I think he's still effective. I think his type neutral ultimate can definitely kill UI Goku for sure. And again, against the right teams that don't have indestructible, don't have like succession or anything like that, you can just simply rush and get a free kill against most characters. So I do think he is still very good, but again, it's really hard for me to put him like much higher on the list just because of UI Goku being super, super dominant. And with how much damage UI Goku already does, this guy being red, I mean, it's literally one strike and he loses his endurance. That's actually what it comes down to. So I like Cell still. I still think he's a good unit, but number one, teams aren't very good for him right now. He's kind of just waiting for a good team. More feature characters, more powerful opponent characters, androids. He's kind of missing like 1 or 2 good units for each of those tags. And then also just maybe like a really strong green character for those teams as well. But Cell, I think, is still an effective unit, but UI Goku is just UI Goku. So I have him at number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7 is going to be Zenkai Green Daima Goku. This guy always kind of was on the fringe of top 10 on my prior list. I don't think he's ever made the actual list itself, but he's always kind of been like 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. So with UI Goku's release and with UI Goku being much more dominant than Vegeta in my experience, this Daima Goku has gained immense value because there are very, I don't know, not even like super rare instances, but like there are instances where this guy can just come in, lock UI Goku in with like a strike card and kill him. Right? This guy's damage is insane. I think they overtuned his damage actually a little bit too much. That's the Daima effect. There's some like Bandai like executive that's like, Daima must be like the best team or something. There's some directive that the development team got from somebody that was like, Daima must be insane. I don't know who said it. I don't know where it came from, but that almost seems to me that that has to have happened because every single character was pretty crazy for that. Like the worst Daima character has got to be like that blue Goku, but even that blue Daima Goku has some interesting abilities. So I don't know. Every Daima character is just cracked. Like, it makes no sense. But yeah, this guy, I think, is in a really good spot right now in the meta. He's got a really, really solid tool with the sub count increase when he lands a strike or a blast. He's drawing cards when he uses cards. He's immune to card destruction. He's actually got decent bulk, I would say, especially against UI Goku. You can kind of use him to burn through UI Goku's gauge. You just like launch cards at him and he takes the counters and he can eat them. He's got a half HP disrupt mechanic. He's got the death buffs. He's supporting the team. He's a really good unit. I think he's a really good character for Daima, but not just Daima, because this guy can be thrown on just an all-purpose Saiyan team. I was actually testing out a team with this guy next to UI Goku on a Sun Family team, and that works pretty well too. But overall, I do think this guy's in a really, really good spot as well. It gets Dragon Ball super quickly, so you can just rush characters as well with this guy really fast. But yeah, this guy's in a really good spot. I think he's a good tool against UI Goku, which is right now the biggest threat that exists. And also, Super Saiyan 4 Goku's still in the meta as well. This guy's a good pick against him too. So I really like this Green Daima Goku right now. I feel like he gained quite a bit of value with the Part 1 characters. And then something else to mention as well, this guy really doesn't get mega affected by the combo compensation change, because with this character, more often than not, you're spamming cards as opposed to just doing combos with him, right? You get somebody caught in a combo with a strike card, you just spam strike, 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 blast or something, right? Strike, green, strike, strike, strike. You don't usually step combo or charge combo with this character. You're just spamming cards. So he's unaffected by the combo compensation change most of the time. And then all the other things I mentioned about him are just really, really effective and valuable right now. So Daima Goku is going to be at number 7. Let's move on to number 6. All right, so now we're kind of getting to the units that we've all seen a million times, besides one of them. So we'll just start with number 6, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Not going to spend a ton of time on these slots because there's not really a ton to talk about here. But this guy, obviously, with UI Goku releasing, I think is still really, really powerful. The combo compensation change doesn't really affect this guy as much as most other characters because you're not really doing combos with him as much as you are just spamming cards and kind of like weaving him in as a way to end combos as well. You do a long combo with, Majin Ku or Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then you just swap to this character, press a card, draw 2 more cards, and end the combo with him, like with a blue or something, right? So that's really, I think, the way you want to use this character. Also, it's a pretty decent way of dealing with like last man standing UI Goku with the vanish removal. If you're in melee range, you vanish, remove, ult, and just kill him, right? Because UI Goku doesn't remove buffs, so that's a pretty good way of getting rid of him. And overall, I feel like he's a pretty good character to use against, similar to how I mentioned with Daima Goku. You can kind of just spam cards against UI Goku's gauge because UI Goku counters this guy, and he's tanky enough to eat the hits without taking like massive amounts of damage. He's healing every time he enters with the gauge up. Ku is healing him. And yeah, I don't think there's really much else that needs to be said about this guy. Just a really solid character still. Damage is very, very good. And there aren't really a ton of things that happen between the last list and this list to really make him move down a ton. I feel like he's just kind of really solid still. So Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta here at number 6. Let's move on to the top 5. Starting off the top 5, number 5, we have Ultra Beast Gohan. I think this guy is still really, really effective. You stack up a ton of damage by using cards. You stack up a ton of damage guard penetration by using strikes. You drop combo, you launch a special beam cannon, and it is killing most units in the game. The one thing about that is, at this point, we are seeing a bit of an increase in the damage guard on these recent characters, especially with UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. I mean, Evolution Blue Vegeta is probably still going to die to this anyway, just because he's purple. But UI Goku transformed will actually, I think most of the time, if they're at similar star levels, again, I'm rating everything at 14 stars, will actually survive the special beam cannon. He will. He has too high damage. He's got 175% damage guard. He's got like 200k defenses, max arts boosted. He's living the special beam cannon unless Gohan is just ungodly juiced up with Zenkai buffs and like pure equips and stuff like that. But yeah, UI Goku should be fine against that. The one issue with this character now is going to be on the defensive end. This guy eats 1 blue from UI Goku, and he's basically dead. It's going to be tough for him to live things like that. He's got no second life mechanic. He's got no buff removal against blues. He's got the half HP disrupt mechanic, but if UI Goku just lands a blue card, it's not going to matter. He's just going to die through it. But overall, I think this character is still really, really strong, and there's going to need to be like some massive red character to come out that really puts this guy lower on the list. Cell has the potential to do it, but it's tough to really see Cell perform exceptionally right now with so many good top-tier blues that we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I think at part 2 or part 3, we should get some more reds, I would hope, because red is not a very good typing right now. But yeah, this guy will be good for, I think, for a while, and still, 6 months later, basically since he dropped, and still very good. So top 5, Ultra Beast Gohan. I don't really think the combo compensation changed to hurt this character, because most of the time what you're going to do is just mostly just spam cards with him while he's got his cover null up to build up the damage before you launch the special beam cannon. Ultimate's still really strong. Yeah, there was not like some massive difference between the last list and this one to where he's going to drop all the way down. I just think UI Goku maybe is a little tough for him to deal with, but not like to the point where he's, going to move down a ton here. So Ultra Beast Gohan number 5. Let's move on to number 4. All right, number 4 is Ultra Majin Vegeta. Me personally, I would have Majin Vegeta slightly above Beast. I think Beast is the bigger threat when it comes to damage. Majin Vegeta at this point has completely outaged Beast Gohan when it comes to defensive abilities, just because of the gauge and because of his buff removal and second life mechanic. I mean, we knew that was going to happen, right? I mean, it's not like a surprise. Oh my god, Majin Vegeta has better defensive abilities than Beast Gohan does. But at this point, it is just a little bit too much. But the real reason why I think Majin Vegeta, for me, edges out Beast Gohan in terms of the effectiveness right now is, again, not really because of the actual characters that came out in Part 1, but it is because of the combo compensation change. I talked about this when it came to God Goku earlier in the list, but you have a free drop combo AoE green with this character, and there really is no downside to doing that, right? Again, I'll mention the same thing I talked about with the God Goku part of this video. You drop combo AoE green with Majin Vegeta, your opponent really has 2 options. Do they tap attack you out of it, or do they rush you? If they rush you, unless you're Ultra Cell, really, right, you're not going to be killing Majin Vegeta because he has a second life. And if they tap you out of it, all it does is reset the playing field to neutral. And the reason why drop combo greens are so insanely powerful now is because they go around, they don't care about the combo compensation change, right? You do a 40 hit combo with Majin Vegeta. You drop combo green, get a full hand of cards, and the combo compensation is reset. So it basically means you start over from nothing, right? You no longer have the penalty when it comes to key recovery. You no longer have the penalty when it comes to card draw speed, and you reset all the reduced damage from combo compensation. And you can switch characters too. Like the switch timer counts for your characters in your standby are going to be reset. So that is such a huge advantage for this character over someone like Beast Gohan that it's really hard for me to put this character below Beast, even though I think Beast Special Beam Cannon is probably just, as a single mechanic, it is better than anything this guy has, I think. Besides maybe, like, what's better, Special Beam Cannon or this guy's auto counter gauge? It's close. Like, they're completely different mechanics, but I probably would take the Special Beam Cannon. It's just, it decides games on its own, right? But Majin Vegeta has too many things stacked up in his favor, I think, right now with the way the game is. This guy has the lock-in ultimate, which for whatever reason, Evolution Blue Vegeta doesn't have buff removal, so this guy just comes in, locks Vegeta in, and kills him. Unless you're running Kaba on the team with that Evolution Blue Vegeta, which I think you probably should, which is going to remove this guy's endurance nullification. But I feel like even with Kaba on the team, I probably would still just lock in that Evolution Blue Vegeta and AoE him, because the AoE damage is going to be so insane for the whole rest of the team, because you're doing so much damage on that. So I probably, even though if I knew it wasn't going to kill him, I'd probably still do it just to set the whole team to like 0 health. But yeah, I mean, I don't really need to go out talk about at length of what this guy does, because we all know at this point this guy's been in the game for 8 months and he's still number 4 on the list. So maybe at some point they'll notice that they need to actually kind of like, you know, release a character to deal with this guy. But until then, this guy's going to be on the list probably forever. So number 4, Majin Vegeta. Let's move on to number 3. All right, so number 3 is going to be Majin Ku. I'm sure you guys all really like this character's face at this point. I'm sure you've become very accustomed to seeing this. Definitely have seen a bit of a drop-off in the amount of people using Daima, but I still see it fairly often. It's like once every 5 matches I will run into Daima still. But people are definitely trying out like the newer characters. But I think once people have had their fill with the Part 1 characters, because Part 2 is still like 2.5 weeks away from now, in like a week, give it like a week to a week and a half, and people will start running Daima again. I guarantee it. This guy, I think, so I had him on as a shared spot at number 1 with Super Saiyan 4 Goku last list. I did separate this guy from Super Saiyan 4 Goku on this list because I think UI Goku poses a much bigger threat to this character than he does to Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Not that this character is all of a sudden bad because of UI Goku, but UI Goku has very, very easy one-shot potential on this guy, and UI Goku kind of makes it more difficult for this guy to get going, because in order to get going with this character, you need to start a combo. This character gets a lot of value from like Sealing Strike, so it's much harder to be proactive against this character, but with UI Goku, you don't really need to be proactive, so it becomes a lot harder for this guy to sort of be the annoying character we know, right? Against UI Goku, right? UI Goku green cards this guy and just one-shots him with a blue card sometimes, but that's not to say this guy still can't be paralysis, you know, win off of 2 paralysis character. Like, this guy could win off of you being paralyzed twice in a fight. And I've talked about this character, you know, multiple lists in a row at this point, so I'm not going to spend tons of time on this, but this is one of the few characters in the game that single-handedly can win you the match from not even doing anything, right? You just send him into the battlefield on a cover change, he paralyzes the opponent, and you can win off of that, right? So he is kind of insane still. He's getting Vanish back. He's destroying Dragon Balls. He's sealing your cards. He's sealing your main ability. Sealing main ability is actually still really crazy. Sealing main ability on Daima as a team is, I think, what gives it the slight edge. If I was going to like rate like what's better, Daima or like Universe Reps, I think Daima clears Universe Reps, but I'm not sure. I'm still kind of up in the air about which team is better, Daima or Sun Family. It's really Sun Family that's like competing with Daima, not really so much Universe Reps at this point. We'll see what happens when Revival UI Goku comes out, or the Zenkai for Revival UI Goku comes out. But this coup plus the Super Saiyan 4 Goku combo, essentially giving you, what is it, 10 counts of main sealing, that is what hurts Evolution Blue Vegeta. I didn't mention this in the Evolution Blue Vegeta portion of this video, which I probably should have done because that's one of the reasons why I put him so low here, but Evolution Blue Vegeta has a horrible matchup versus Daima. He is a sitting duck against Daima. They gave him some stuff to deal with Daima, like they gave him key protection when he's transformed. They gave him card protection when he enters the battlefield. Who cares if your main is sealed? Like, it doesn't... You can't combo. Vegeta needs to combo against Daima, and he just can't. You can't combo against Daima. It's impossible. Because, yeah, Vegeta has card protection when there's about. He has card protection, but he has 0 key. What does that matter, right? He has card protection, but he has no main and no key. It doesn't matter. So yeah, this guy poses a huge threat to Evolution Blue Vegeta. In fact, if I'm running Evolution Blue Vegeta and I run into Daima, I'm going out of my way to not switch into Evolution Blue Vegeta probably, because he's just gonna hurt me more than help me. He has a horrible matchup versus... It is terrible versus Daima. It's horrible. It's one of the worst matchups I've seen for like a new major celebration headlining character to have like that bad of a matchup versus another team. Luckily, again, right now I'm only really running into Daima once every like 5 matches or so. So right now it's not that bad, but once people start running Daima again, Vegeta is going to have a bad time. It is such a bad matchup. But for UI Goku too, it can be annoying, right? So UI Goku is comboing, you're planning on maining to transform, but then Majin Ku swaps in, you can't transform. Then Super Saiyan 4 Goku swaps in, you can't transform. So you got to really, I think, with UI Goku against Daima, in my experience, I kind of just do it as soon as I can get it. Even if I'm not fully built up with UI Goku, I'll probably just main just to get it in against Daima, because it's just so important to just have it up. The difference between UI Saiyan Goku and Mastered UI is like, it's huge. The character becomes twice as good. But yeah, that main ceiling aspect of this character is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, Ku is still a really solid unit. I mean, you kind of just turn your brain off with this character and swap 100 times, and he's crazy. He's going to be number 3 here. Let's move on to number 2. Went on a bit of a tangent there, but I did feel like it was relevant to mention all those things. All right, so coming in number 2 is going to be Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I actually don't really think this guy got hurt that much from the changes, right? The anniversary characters plus the combo compensation change. Maybe he was hurt by the combo compensation changes a little bit. I guess it really comes down to your playstyle with this character. Typically, the way that you want to use Super Saiyan 4 Goku is, so he's got 2 options, right? When you have your full unique gauge with this character, you can either use a Strike or a Blast to draw more cards and like kind of extend the combo out, or you can simply go for the blue card and reset his gauge and do more damage and get your Vanish back. More often than not, I will either use the blue card with this character, or you simply go to Majin Ku, use the blue card with him, and feint the opponent. Right? Because even if you don't get the feint, he's still drawing a green off of the blue, so you can kind of just stall until this guy can come back in and do it all over again. But yeah, there's like really nothing that happened with the anniversary characters and then the battle system changes to really hurt this guy a ton. Maybe it's just the fact that UI Goku does so much damage. I don't know, because like even Last Man Standing, this guy versus UI Goku most of the time will die unless he's at full health. Like if UI Goku's at full health, Last Man Standing, he'll live this guy's ultimate. He's not going to get one shot by it. But if you're like a half HP UI Goku versus this guy Last Man Standing, you're going to die. You're going to die to this ultimate. You are. you're going to die. So I don't really feel like this character got worse in many regards from the anniversary units, but I don't feel like he got better. So I just feel like he's kind of here. Yeah, number 2. I'm going to separate him from Ku, put Ku at 3, put this guy at 2, and that's really where we are here with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So not much else needs to be said here. Let's move on to number 1. All right, coming in at number 1 is going to be Transforming Ultra Instinct Goku. For me, I don't even feel like it's super close with the rest of the game. This guy kind of feels like a level above every other character on an individual level if I'm comparing just like how the character is kit for kit. Think about the fact that like when Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku dropped next to Majin Ku, that pairing was basically untouchable. Think about the fact they came out in March and we're at the end of May right now, about to go into June. And that duo is like 2 months old now. There was nothing touching that. It was Ku plus Super Saiyan 4 Goku on like a pedestal, and then everything else was just like cowering in fear below them. That's kind of what I feel about with this character. Not saying that Daima can't compete with this guy and Daima can't overpower this guy, because they definitely can. I think Daima as a team just has way too much cohesion together. The team is just, it basically was a flawless execution of how the team operates with the other characters on the team. But this guy as an individual character, there's nothing touching this. I'm sorry, there's nothing touching this guy. He has way too overtuned of a kit. And I think for me, the most absurd part about this character, so there's 2 layers to this that I want to talk about. The first layer is going to be his defensive abilities. They gave this guy way too many defensive abilities. Number 1, he has got, I'm actually going to pull up his details for this. He's got the second highest damage guard in the game. Vegeta has the first, the actual highest. Vegeta has 180, and then he gets an extra 20% when he's transformed. This time, UI Goku has 175% damage guard, which, remember, Kid Goku has 150, and then he gets 10% more when he's ran on a next to another Dragon Ball character, or next to another DB character. So Kid Goku, with a condition, has 160% damage guard. This guy just has 175% damage guard. And then when he's transformed, here are his defensive stats: 200,000 strike defense, 196,000 blast defense, second highest damage guard in the game. He, of course, has the auto dodging gauge, which by itself is insane. Guess what else he's got? endurance. Why does this guy have endurance? I don't know. But then the thing that really sets him apart from like everything else, especially like when I look at this is the ability I look at and I'm like, why the hell does Vegeta not have this? It's this. When hit by enemy arts, health plus 3%, enemy ki minus 5, enemy arts cost plus 10. That is the stacking cost increase debuff that Beast Go on has. Now, this is only for the current enemy. It's not the whole enemy team. So that part of it is worse than Beast's. But this guy's also lowering ki. Ki minus 5 and plus 10 to cost every time he gets hit. With endurance, with the auto dodge engage, with insane defenses, with 175% damage guard. And if you go for a blue card or an ultimate, he's healing, going type neutral, and lowering your power. Like, what is this? Why did they give him all of that? It's so dumb. Like, the way I see it, right? The way I see it, the whole identity of UI Goku as a character is about the dodging. And if you catch him, you should be rewarded for catching him. Right? You shouldn't catch him and then go, okay, phase 1 is done. Now we got to get past all this other nonsense to actually kill him. I'm not saying he should be super squishy if you catch him, but you shouldn't have to go through just the first layer of catching him and then, oh, phase 2, he grows 10 feet. It's like a boss fight. You get through phase 1, phase 2, the boss grows like a second head or something. Like, that's what this guy feels like. Okay, congratulations, you've caught him. Now you got to actually deal with all this other nonsense he has in his kit. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's way too overtuned. It's so crazy. And so besides those two things, there are two abilities that I'm looking at that really just say, this is the Part 1 anniversary character to me. The first one, I think everybody would agree, he did not need this green card. Why are we giving UI Goku, who has counters with an auto dodge engage, a counter green? The reason why this is so dumb, in my opinion, is because with this, there is no correct way to initiate against this character. You go for a strike card, he auto dodges. You go for a blast card, he auto dodges. You go for a tackle, he counters you with the green. You go for a quick attack, he either auto dodges it or counters you with the green. What are you gonna do? Long range green? You're gonna long range green that has a long animation, just get dodged? You're gonna long range blue? Like, I guess I'm actually kind of thinking to myself, like, is the best way to do this just use like green Omega and just like start chucking blues from long range? Like, and that just becomes a coin flip. Does he go right away? Does he not go right away? He did not need this because it makes your options zero. How do you initiate? I think the best way to do this, honestly, is you have to have a green character on your team and you have to just YOLO it. You have a green character, you have like any green, you have Daima green Daima Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, God Goku, and you just attack. You just attack him. You tackle him, you tap attack him, you tap blast him, you quick attack, like you just go for it. And if he has a green, you just have to eat the damage, right? And at least because you're a green character, you can kind of live with it. But if you don't have a green character, or you don't have a green character that you can switch into at that time, what are you doing? You can't attack the character at all. There's zero correct ways to initiate. So this to me is insane. Definitely didn't need this. And then the other thing that I kind of like didn't really think about too hard when I first looked at his kit, and I'm pretty sure nobody else really thought this was going to be super ridiculous, is, where is it? This right here. When on battlefield an enemy switches, unique gauge plus 30%. So for example, if you use the blue card in melee range, unique gauge plus 50%, let's say you use the blue card in melee range, the enemy vanishes. You get 50% of your unique gauge, and then when the enemy switches because they vanished, you get 30% of your unique gauge. You're now back up to 80% of your unique gauge, and then if you just go for like a blast, you're going to be at 100% because he gets 15% back from using cards. Okay? On top of that, this counts tag characters. if you're Future Gohan and Trunks, if you're Goku and Frieza, if you're Kale and Caulifla, and you tag, you're giving UI Goku 30% unique gauge. This is probably the most annoying part of his kit for me, is him getting constantly the unique gauge back over and over and over and over and over again from you just playing the game. This is an ability. This and the counter, I would actually consider this green card counter, and then the ability we just talked about, the unique gauge back when the enemy switches. These are things that I probably would think he initially didn't have, but then they're like, well, he's a 7th anniversary headliner, let's just do it. Like that's the kind of thing that separates an anniversary character from a non-anniversary character. And that's the main reason why I was frustrated with Evolution Blue Vegeta the way he was designed, because he doesn't have anything that represents him being a Part 1 anniversary character like this. This is crazy. Vegeta doesn't have anything like that. So when you consider all of these mechanics coming together in the same character, on top of the fact that he's got 308,000 strike attack, on top of the fact that he's got one of the hardest hitting blue cards in the game, on top of the fact he's stacking damage with the strikes and blasts, not only through his arts cards, but through here as well. On strike and blast arts, he's getting 20% stacking damage, getting unique gauge back, getting ki back. All of these things are just way too strong together on a character that has 4 layers of defensive abilities. There is no way I could have any character even close to this. It's beyond. It's just way too crazy. So this guy's going to be at 1. I feel like the top 2 spots on this list are pretty set in stone for me. But like I said at the beginning of the video, 10 through 3, you could change it up. You can mix it up. Again, I mentioned this too, but there's like 15 characters you really could just slot in on like 10 or 9 or 8. Let's just quickly go through some of these characters. Like I'm just going to pull up my list here. Like let's go. Let's look through some of the options in the game right now. I think Ultra Goku Black is you could talk about him potentially. He's really good against UI Goku. I feel like with his blue card, you can kind of just chuck it out there. I've talked about God Goku already. Gotenks is okay. Omega's okay. Who else? Green Vegito Blue you could put at the bottom end of the list, I think, for sure. Super Saiyan 2 and a Super Saiyan 3 Goku for sure. 17 is decent. Goku and Frieza are decent with their equipment as well. Kale and Caulifla are really good. I think Kaba is really good. Majin Buu is still really good. Super Trunks could be effective. Even though you got to be super careful with this guy because of UI. Like, this guy's definitely, I don't think I would put him on my list, but he's still really good. Kaba's a really good 1% sparking character. Jackie Chun actually is pretty good as well. What else? The Purple 17 is still decent. He's okay. I wouldn't put him on my list, but he's still decent. Let's just keep going here. Anything else I would really talk about? That's probably it. Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan 2. I'd probably put him there too. He's still really good. Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, another endurance character with an AoE green. Why do they keep doing it? They not understand how stupid that is? Especially with this change. Dude, Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan gets buffed every patch. Combo compensation change, he's got an AoE green with endurance. You can now use arts cards from the characters on your bench. Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan has 2 armor break cards. Every single patch he gets buffed. Like, it's insane. But yeah, I mean, again, there's like 10 or 15 characters you really could put like 10, 9, or 8 on the list. I think there's a lot of decent units right now. So I think that's good. But UI Goku, I actually would say he is too good. But it really becomes apparent when you're comparing him to Vegeta. That is my major, I guess, point of criticism with the part 1 of this anniversary is UI Goku most certainly is at the power level that we would expect for an anniversary character, or even exceeds that. But what about Vegeta, man? Vegeta does not come close to this guy. It is just, what is happening? But yeah, that's the list. Just to quickly recap, number 10, Kid Goku and Future Gohan and Trunks shared that spot. Number 9, LF God Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta shared that spot. Number 8 was Ultra Cell. Number 7 was the Green Zenkai Daima Goku. Number 6 was Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Number 5 was Beast Gohan. Number 4 was Majin Vegeta. Number 3, Majin Ku. Number 2, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And number 1, UI Goku. Let me know down below what you guys think of these rankings. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.